Welcome to the Once Upon a Sunday Fantasy Football Podcast with your hosts, Josh Kimmel, Dave Campbell, and Justin Bowerly.
Welcome to Once Upon a Sunday Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Josh, and today we will be helping you get through your Week 16, aka your second round of the playoffs. If you missed some players, if you had some injuries, don't worry. We're here to support you and to help you get through. So without further ado, let's get my co-host in here, my dude, my everything, my opponent. My opponent in his own league that he manages, that he commissions. I am taking this man down. Justin Bowerly, what's going on?
I am not prepared to lose this week, so good luck.
Well, change your league to the way it should be, which is reseeding.
Well, I'm not prepared to lose because I'm not going to lose.
Okay.
So
I'm just saying. Can I go on a mini? It won't be long because
I've never not made the finals in that league. So
well,
start this year.
You've never had a full roster, Josh Kimmel loaded roster like me before coming to you in the playoffs.
You did put up quite a bit of points last week. So
it's okay. I'm getting hot at the right time. My team was like super awesome. Like all year we've been 1-2. It's just my team's been injured and inconsistent, and your team's been on top. I do think, and this is a mini rant for Sleeper, because I noticed this is the default setting, which it shouldn't be the default setting. You need to reseed your leagues. If you're playing on Sleeper and you're like, oh, your excuse is, well, I never fixed it before. I never touched it before. They're so backwards and stupid. Sorry, it is what it is. They don't reseed in the playoffs.
Wait, no. This league is set up for reseed.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not. I'm no matter what, if I won my matchup, I was going to play you regardless.
I'm literally looking at it right now.
Nope. Because I said we need to reseed because no matter what, I was scheduled to play you if I won my matchup, no matter what. And you're like, it's the way it's always been. You just were never in the playoffs. You never realized it. And I'm like, you're right. I've never been in the playoffs before. And I'm just now realizing it. And I'm realizing it now that all of my leagues, and this is why I noticed it. All of my leagues this year, this is the first year ever, we moved everything from MFL to Sleeper to make everyone easier on everybody because everyone was complaining about MFL. They can't figure out a website. They're too stupid to understand how a website works. So we had to move everything to Sleeper for the simpletons of my league members. And then every single league that we moved over, the default was to not reseed. So it's just, what are we doing? That's the default in Sleeper is to not reseed. You're just, that's who it is. So therefore, in our league, the league you manage, we're the two best teams remaining, but we have to play each other when I should be playing the other team. But it's fine. It is what it is. That's Sleeper. Sleeper's awesome. We all love Sleeper because we can't figure out a website named MFL because you guys just can't figure it out. Anyway, that's just my mini rant. I know you're looking into it. No, every league I ran into, my league included that I moved from Sleeper. I actually, and you know this because you're in that league, I said, guys, I'm changing it to reseeding the way it should be because the default setting in Sleeper is stupid for your playoffs. It's completely stupid.
Well, it looks like we need to make some bylaw changes this year. So,
but do you agree with me that should be reseeding, right?
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, if we're talking about like, what's the NFL like? The NFL reseeds. Why aren't we?
You changed it. You did change it.
What are you talking about?
You changed it. I know you changed it. Nope. You mother ever. You had to have changed it. When did you change it? Nope. I'm about to go through.
It's back. Chill. I was trying
I'm not chilling.
Gaslight you. I was trying to gaslight you. So,
am I playing Ballin or am I playing you? Which one am I playing?
You're playing me.
All right, so we're going back to
I was trying to gaslight you for a minute. It's fine.
That's fine.
We got some bylaws. Anyways, we're not here to talk about our stupid fantasy football league that is for like nothing.
That's true, but it's just if you're watching and you're in a Sleeper league and you realize this is the way it is, tell your commissioner to fix it in the offseason. Yeah. So let's get into some injury news, Justin.
Yeah. This thing. A lot has happened, but not a lot has happened, if that makes any sense. So let's start off at the top. Geno Smith is expected to play this week. He has a knee injury. That's kind of concerning for those Geno Smith roster people. Hopefully you have Sam Howell just in case. The league I do, I have both. Aiden O'Connell, he missed last night's game with a knee injury. We thought last week he was going to be out for the season, but apparently this is a week-to-week injury, not a season-ending injury. Jalen Waddle has a knee injury. He is day-to-day. He apparently missed a severe injury, so that's good.
Hey, production team, play my clip from last week. Yeah, do it.
Alvin Kamara, he's rostered 99% of the leagues. Has been very good. He's got a groin injury, and he's going to go through some further testing. Xavier Legette, groin injury. He's week to week, likely to miss week 16. Joe Mixon, ankle injury again. He believes to have avoided a serious injury, so his next couple weeks could be in question. Cedric Tillman's been out with a concussion. He's hopeful to return in week 16. David Njoku, he's hopeful to return in week 16 with that hamstring injury. That would be a huge impact if he is to come back this week. Patrick Mahomes, this is the big one. Ankle injury. He is considered week to week. He has had ankle injuries in the past, considered week to week, and he has always played. So take that how you want. Alec Pierce left the game early with a head injury, and then Nick Chubb, broken foot, out for the season.
So those are your injuries. Some of these guys you might be getting back this week. Some of these guys you may have lost. So this waiver wire going into your week 16 or second round of the playoffs is very important. So let's get right to it.
Well, there's one kind of big news right now. Dorian Thompson-Robinson will start for the Browns this week and over Jameis Winston.
Oh my goodness, they're in total tank mode and they're trying to kill us. They're trying to take fantasy goodness away from us.
He did score negative points this last week. So
that's not true. He scored me 0.04 in one of my leagues. I think you're just happy because finally, for the first time in like 3 weeks, he didn't hit that 14. You're so happy.
I was wrong about him too. That's what makes me the most upset. Is that I was wrong.
Justin Bowerly cannot figure out Jameis Winston. I actually started Jameis Winston over AR5 and Drake May, and I did not advance in my playoffs because of it. Same. And Jalen Waddle also got me a 0 in that same league. So thanks, Waddle and Jameis, for that 0.04 combined effort. Losers. Appreciate it. I'll draft you again next year and complain next year. So let's go with our first guy on the waiver wire list. This is a must add because of the situation we just talked about. Nick Chubb breaking his foot out for the season. Jerome Ford stepped in and kind of did okay. Kind of did really good. It's funny because, Justin, when I was watching the matchups in my playoffs, I was going against Jerome Ford and I was kind of laughing like, this idiot started Jerome Ford. Doesn't he know Nick Chubb's going to get 22 carries for 42 yards and 0 touchdowns? What a loser. Well, that turned out to be not the case as Jerome Ford crushed me and scored 18.4 points. I actually like this. This is the number one pickup. If you have fab remaining and you lost Nick Chubb or you lost Alvin Kamara or you lost Joe Mixon or you're afraid to lose Joe Mixon, this has to be the number one guy. Correct, Justin?
I would agree. We've seen what Jerome Ford has done in the past, and he's done really well. I don't see why you would change that up. New quarterback situation could change some things. Cedric Tillman maybe coming back could change some things. The Browns have no identity right now, but the one consistent thing on that offense is Jerome Ford.
Yep. He did pop off a long run, so that took up a big chunk of his 104 total yards and that touchdown, 18.4 points. But hey, if you started him, congratulations. He did really well. Before this, he wasn't doing amazing. Like he wasn't lighting the world on fire. He did have double-digit points 3 out of the first 4 weeks of the season when he was getting a bulk of the carries. He was getting about 80% of the carries from weeks 1 through 4. Week 2, he did not, 43.7%. Don't know what happened that week, but maybe he got hurt. Maybe he left the game early, but that's the only week where he did not score double digits. So when he does get 80% or 75% of the snaps, he does score you double-digit points. So I'm okay with him this week. He is playing Cincinnati. They're kind of a dead team. Then they go Miami and Baltimore. I like this for the playoffs. I'm okay with it. Yeah, all in on Jerome Ford. Like to be completely fair, the rest of these guys we're talking about today, out of all of them, I'm still taking all my money and putting it all on Jerome Ford.
Agreed.
Next guy on our list, Kendre Miller. What's going on with Kendre? Kendre Miller is one of those guys where like, oh yeah, sneaky pick. Oh yeah, he's gonna be a sleeper. Oh yeah, he's gonna fill in for Kamara, which Kamara's just never died. Kamara's like a cockroach. He's gonna last forever and ever and ever, and he's gonna be awesome forever. That's what I've realized. Forever. But no, he's growing injury, so he might miss this week. They are going against Green Bay. Kendrick Miller stepped in last week, 9 carries, 1 target, 46 total yards, didn't really do much. So I'd like to see a full game plan if he does get the start, if Kamara is missing. Do we think Kamara is going to miss the entire game?
Again, don't know, because groin injury, like that could be anything. It could be like Xavier Legette, where he's week to week and he's likely out this week. It could mean he's perfectly fine this week.
Yeah. But again, if you're starting, I don't want to be this guy. If you're starting Kendre Miller in your second round of the playoffs, then you don't deserve to be there. And you should be happy that you're playing for third place next week. Like, to be completely honest with you guys. Like, that's how I feel if you're starting Kendre Miller this week. You're a loss for all. You're just in the void. And you hope that he scores a touchdown. That's about it. Next segment, Justin, because those are the only guys that are must-adds. The rest are all just worth a look. Next guy on our list, worth a look, Tajay Spears, running back. I feel like he's been on this list, off this list, on this list, off this list, so on and so on. What did we do with Tajay Spears? Was he the running back 3 last week? Is that real life? What happened? Did I miss this game?
They played the Bengals.
Yeah, they played the Bengals. And that's what happens when you play the Bengals.
That's the thing, is they played the Bengals. So the Bengals won, but yeah, he had a touchdown, 17 carries, 45 yards. I'm looking at the wrong person. That's Tony Pollard. Tajay Spears had 4 carries. He had 7 targets for 87 yards and a touchdown. He also had a rushing touchdown on one of his 4 carries. So he got heavily involved in the passing game, which really helped. Will Levis also was benched at one point in the game after 12 attempts, and Mason Rudolph came in, and we all know what happens with that Titans offense when Mason Rudolph plays in the game. They actually do stuff.
Yeah. Surprise, surprise. They are playing Indianapolis this week at Indy, so it'll be on the road in kind of decent weather because they don't have weather in Indianapolis. It's a dome. So therefore, you don't have to worry about that. But are they going to be in a track meet with a Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins? I don't think they will. They're going to be against the Indianapolis Colts, and I feel like the Colts are one of those teams, and correct me if I'm wrong because they're your team, they play up or down to their opponent. I swear they do. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But I feel like, okay, yeah, so that this is going to be like a boring 12-7 game where nobody can move the ball, and Jonathan Taylor is getting his 2.7 yards per carry, and Tajay Spears might be totally phased out of this offense. He has yet to have 50% of the snap share in any game up to this point. So if you need a dart throw, if you don't have any more fab and he's the only guy you can claim, sure. But again, they're not playing Cincinnati this week. They're playing the Colts, who are still bad on defense. Then they get Jacksonville. So if something happens to Tony Pollard, I mean, he's definitely worth a look just in case Tony Pollard goes down. But other than that, I would not think that Tajay Spears can repeat the 27.2 fantasy points this year or this week.
Or this year.
Or the remainder of the
remainder of the year.
I don't think that's going to happen, but he's definitely worth a look. Next guy on this list, Russell Wilson. He is playing Baltimore, which we all know how juicy Baltimore is. But what happened last time, Justin, Russell Wilson played Baltimore? What happened? Does anyone know? Does anyone remember? Wasn't that far ago?
It seems like forever ago, doesn't it?
It seems like forever ago.
Put up 7.3, his worst game on the season. Worst game on the season. He 1 interception, 0 touchdowns, 205 yards. Was not great. 7.3 points at home against Baltimore.
Yeah, and since then, though, he's been decent, right? 13.8, 27.9, 16, but last week, 8.4. He is missing George Pickens. Let's see if Pickens plays this week. If you need a quarterback to stream, let's say you were rolling with Patrick Mahomes and you're afraid about that ankle and you don't think he's going to play, or you're rolling with Geno Smith and you're just worried that he's not going to play. He is a quarterback you want to pick up. I'm willing to bet on Russell Wilson. He's a competent quarterback, but man, if they don't have Pickens, I think I'm out on him. I think I'm out on him. I don't know how you feel about that.
No, I agree with you. He has not been productive without Pickens at all. So if Pickens is not there, I'm looking to bench him. I have him in a league where I need this. Obviously need a win. And there's another QB on our list that I am likely going to start over him this week.
Ooh, we're going to get to him later on, but let's get to Romeo Doubs first. Wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers. He returned in a good way. He has New Orleans this week, then at Minnesota, then versus Chicago. So some pretty decent matchups for your fantasy playoffs. You ever like whack-a-mole? You ever play whack-a-mole?
Romeo Doubs is that guy. You're looking for him to actually come up?
Anyone. Hey, it's Jaden Reed's turn. Oh, no, he's knocked back down. Hey, it's Romeo Doubs' turn. Nope, knocked back down. Hey, it's Christian Watson. Nope, stay down. He's done.
Never Christian Watson.
Out of order. It's just these guys are so wishy-washy, and we don't know who's going to have the big game. We don't know who's going to have the game. We don't know who's going to be targeted. We don't know who's not going to be targeted. Romeo Doubs is very frustrating. He's a very frustrating manager, and so is, like I said, Christian Watson and Jaden Reed. I'm definitely picking him up if I had a Jalen Waddle, which even if Waddle was 100% healthy this week and he was playing, I'm still starting Dobbs. I'm so dumb. You asked me if we were going to bury someone today, man. I almost said Waddle, but I'm not in that kind of mood to bury anybody.
Didn't we bury him last week?
No, we told everyone to start him last week.
Oh, that's right. We buried Debo last week.
Yeah, we told everyone to start Waddle over Shakir. And Waddle scored us a big fat 0. So
Sorry, guys.
I'm sure we lost that one big time. Anyway, Romeo Doubs, back to him. I just, 5 targets last week, 2 touchdowns. Like, that makes you look really good when 2 of your 3 catches are touchdowns. Makes you look great. Let's see if he could repeat it more than just 5 targets on this in the game next week against New Orleans. Quentin Johnston. Who did he play last week?
I don't know, but he had 15.5 points. Good Lord. Did I even watch football this week? No, I didn't. I was out of town. Quentin Johnston played Tampa Bay. You knew the answer. You were just fishing for it. 10 targets, 5 receptions, 45 yards, and a touchdown. It's 2 touchdowns in 2 weeks, which is pretty good. That's 5 over the last 7 weeks. This is the most productive he's ever been in his entire career. So,
is he playing Tampa again? Is he playing Tampa? If he's playing
great.
Tampa again, that'd be
He's playing
great.
Denver, which could be tough.
Oh,
But Patrick Surtain might be missing in that second.
But we didn't talk about the injury news. Herbert did get rolled up on, and he was injured during that game. So we'll see his availability if they want to put him out there. I'm sure they will. When's the last time?
They have to fight for this.
Last time they played, it's funny that you assume that Patrick Surtain's going to be on Quentin Johnson, and they don't have a Lab McConkey out there.
No, I mean that's true. I'm just saying that's one less defender, so they have to slide over whoever already is their secondary onto Lad McConkey, which means they get a lesser defensive back on Quentin Johnston.
Last time they played Denver, he had 42% of the snaps. He had 4 targets, 3 catches, -1 total air yards for 5.2 fantasy points. And he wasn't even covered. He wasn't even shadowed by Surtain. It was Jaquin McMillan. Sorry about that pronunciation. So he's on this list because he is getting targeted, right? He does have double-digit targets last week. He had 7 the week before against Kansas City. So 17 in those last 2. He did have those 2 touchdowns like we already spoke about. He is getting more involved. I want to see this kid succeed. Like, he was a highly targeted person in Dynasty. We all thought he was going to be the next something, but he's been nothing. So, I mean, if you have room, he's worth a look, I guess. Oh, against Denver? No, thank you. This week sucks, guys. I'm sorry. It sucks. Brenton Strange, speaking of sucks. Brenton Strange, tight end, Jacksonville. He was the tight end 2 last week. He had 18.3 points. They don't have Evan Ingram. Mac Jones looked like a freaking superstar for the amount of time I watched him play football last week. Mac Jones was out there like flexing on people, dude. Did you not watch Mac Jones ball out last week?
I saw him spin around somebody, and he did the whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, he's a freaking G. He's a freaking G. Well, Evan Ingram's on IR. Mac Jones is going to throw it to somebody, and that somebody's going to be Brian Thomas, who also had an amazing game. They're going against Las Vegas, who isn't that great defensively at all. I do not hate Brenton Strange this week. He had 12 targets last week. Listen, if he gets 12 targets from Mac Jones week to week, I'm all in. He caught 11 of them. I'm sorry. When's the last time tight end was like a for sure thing for anybody? When's the last time you can easily say, you know what? Sam Laporta set it, forget it for weeks. No, we're watching these things. We're seeing trends. So if Mac Jones is going to go ahead and target him against the Las Vegas Raiders, I'm going to start him against the Las Vegas Raiders. He's definitely worth a look, especially if you've just been streaming streaming tight ends all season long.
For real. Yeah.
And then the next tight end, Tucker Kraft. He's also been on this list like the past 15 weeks, I feel like. Tucker Kraft is rostered in 48% of leagues. He only scored 5.4 points last week, was the tight end's 27. They are going against New Orleans. Always a guy you can stream and pick up. Definitely worth a look. Again, if you lost Evan Ingram, you're missing Njoku, you're missing some of these tight ends that aren't giving you production. He's definitely a guy to look at. Are you confident in starting Tucker Kraft or Brenton Strange this week, Justin?
I've been confident with Tucker Kraft all season. His last week 5.4, but he's been getting double digits consistently. He doesn't even. Again, it's like the roller coaster. Who's getting the targets in Green Bay? I think I want to lean towards Brenton Strange at this point, going up against Las Vegas, especially in the Tennessee. Yeah, I think I would go Brenton Strange over Tucker Kraft.
All right. I don't hate you on that one. It's a coin flip to me because Tucker Kraft's been the more solid guy, whereas Strange had one blow-up week. And, I don't like to put all my eggs in a basket for 1 week, especially in the playoffs, week 2 or week 2 of the play. This is huge, Justin. This is a trip to the ship. Like, we'll be popping bottles heading to the ship next week after I beat you. It's going to be great. Me versus Ballin championship. Just because you're, and I can't wait. I can't wait to beat you because you won't change the rules. It pisses me off. Cooper Rush, quarterback. This is your guy.
Yeah. I've been talking about this for a while now, right? Like, for several weeks, I've said, hey, go get Cooper Rush, go get Cooper Rush, go get Cooper Rush. Since week 12, he's had green matchups for 5 straight weeks. Then he's got Philly in week 17. That's the tough part, is your Super Bowl week. If you get into the championship, you have to go against Philly. But if you're missing a guy like Geno Smith, or for some reason Ado O'Connell, maybe Patrick Mahomes doesn't play this week for some reason. Cooper Rush is a very solid guy who scored pretty well, like I've been saying. Wow, not ready for anything today. Cooper Rush scored 21.06 last week, 14.8 the week before against Cincinnati. He had 3 touchdowns this past week against Carolina. And guess who he plays this week?
Woo, baby!
Tampa Bay, who has 0 defense at all. Like, just no defense, just period. Plus, the Cowboys are starting to make a run. They're trying to get into the playoffs as a wild card, so they have motivation to continue winning. CeeDee Lamb all of a sudden is a god again. Like, the entire offense just clicked against Carolina. That was a good bounce back game. Now you got Tampa Bay coming up. Don't worry about Philly. Worry about this week. You're playing week to week now. We're not playing future state anymore. You're playing week to week to win each week. Because if you don't win this week, who cares about next week? Nobody. Nobody cares. Unless you're playing for third. Then if there's a payout. But nobody cares about third place. They care about first.
That's
you
right.
Can't get to first until you win this week.
That's right. They're going against...
Cooper Rush is going to be a top 10 quarterback for me this week. I'm just going to call it.
Sunday night football. Sunday night football, prime time.
Teams playing. He's a top 10 quarterback this week.
I don't know about that, but guess who's got CD Lamb in our matchup in your league? That's fine. It's me. Just spoiler, it's me. I have CD.
Yeah, it's fine.
And I'm super excited. I'm super excited to watch this matchup on Sunday Night Football. I'm all in on Cooper Rush. He might get into my top 12 because Jameis is not going to start. So therefore, I can't start him there in the top. So he might take my Jameis spot as a 12th bottom line because he is going against Tampa Bay. And everyone looks like a superstar against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers these days. So yes, all in on Cooper Rush. I'm with you, man. It took me a long time to get there. I didn't want to buy into it or believe into it, but you sold me. And plus I saw what he did against Carolina. CD looks like he's real good again. So yes, Cooper Rush, all in, baby. Let's go. Next segment, these are the guys you want to check back for next week if you make it to next week. Just want to give a shout out to Craig. What's going on in the chat? Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone, all of you right now. If you're watching on Instagram, if you're watching on X, I don't even know if we're on Instagram. If you're watching anywhere but OUSFF Pod on YouTube, please switch over to the YouTube. Join in the conversation. Let us know how you're feeling. Did you win? Are you in the semifinals? Are you going to the ship next week? So without further ado, you want to answer this question?
Sure, let's answer the question first. Do I start Aaron Rodgers or Kyler Murray? Oh God, I knew this was gonna be a question this week. Like,
why'd you know that was gonna be a question?
Like, because Aaron Rodgers did well and Kyler Murray did not. He scored 10.06 last week. He just, I don't get what Kyler did. No touchdowns for Kyler. And usually the quarterback position is not necessarily touchdown dependent, but he literally was touchdown dependent this week. Aaron Rodgers against Jacksonville scored 30.06. Now the real question is, who are they playing? Aaron Rodgers goes up against the Rams, whereas Kyler Murray goes up against Carolina. Before you even looked at this is a no-brainer. Don't look at Aaron Rodgers, his 30-point game, which is never going to happen again in his career.
Whoa.
I'm taking Kyler Murray.
Whoa.
Easily. Carolina, look what
Whoa. Yeah, I'm also gonna go Kyler Murray against Carolina. I'm always gonna pick the team that's going against Carolina whether than the Rams. Because listen, Rodgers, we've seen a whole season of just disappointment and bummery and trashery and disappointment, actually. That's the word. That's the word for the Jets this year. Disappointment. And I don't want that going into my semifinals. I'm going with the stud Kyler, the guy that can rush for 60 yards, the guy that can throw to Marvin Harrison and Trey McBride against Carolina. That's who I'm rolling with. I want all of my marbles in one quarterback, and that's Kyler Murray. Sorry, Rodgers.
Guy that's actually like playing for a playoff spot in like real life.
So. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Another one in the chat. Another quarterback question: Jared Goff or Jalen Hurts? Jared Goff was so good last week, and now they're down Montgomery. You know they're gonna have to throw the ball a ton.
They got Chicago,
but Jalen Hurts is Jalen Hurts, and I can't go against Jalen Hurts ever. I told you Jalen Hurts is my dude this year. I'm not going to sway away from Jalen Hurts. He still has all of his options. Devontae Smith, AJ Brown doesn't have Dallas Goedert, but he also has that rushing upside. They're going against Washington, which is a huge divisional game. I see a lot of points in this game. I'm going to go Jalen Hurts, even though I don't hate it if you want the safety of but they're going at Chicago. No, I'm sticking with Jalen Hurts this week.
I don't hate you for either or here. The things that I'm going to think about here in this matchup, Jalen Hurts versus Jared Goff, obviously. We talked about Chicago. We've talked about the Commanders, both on the road this week. Commanders have a tougher defense than Chicago, even though Jalen Hurts is projected to score 5 more points than Goff is this week, which is insane. Like you said, Montgomery's out, so they just have Gibbs, which means they're going to have to change their offense a little bit. It's not just going to be run. They might actually have to use Amon-Ra St. Brown. Sam Laporta got involved in this last game. 5 touchdowns last week.
Mm-hmm.
Let's flip over to the Eagles, where Saquon Barkley is still, 300 or 400 yards out from breaking an NFL record. And for all intents and purposes, it sounds like they want to break that record, which that potentially means Saquon's going to get more of that rushing game more than Jalen Hurts will. They're going to want to feed him the ball a lot more, which could bring down Jalen Hurts' production just a bit. However, he's still going to get the touchdowns. He's still going to get the passing. He's still going to get the rushing touchdown because Saquon's going to get tackled at the 1 yard line. Jalen Hurts is going to get the touchdown. So, honestly, there's not a wrong play here. I don't see the wrong play here. I think both are going. I lean more towards Goff this week just because of matchup, because of everything else that's going on, Montgomery being out, and Saquon going for the record. I lean towards Goff. Not going to be upset if you pick Hurts. I don't think you're going to be upset if you pick either. I think they're going to have pretty close games.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
What I really worry about is that the Lions are going to get up so quickly against the Bears that they don't have to pass the ball, even though they always do. I mean,
they're going to have to pass the ball because Detroit's down. Man, their secondary is bad. As we just saw Josh Allen do whatever he wants. Now, I understand that, they're not going to play Josh Allen again this week. I understand that. But again, if their defense is that bad and can't stop a nosebleed and your coach is calling for an onside kick with 12 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, that just tells me he has no confidence in that defense. So Jared Goff might have to just keep on throwing the ball, slinging it around. I definitely understand that. But I'm going Hurts just for the safety, just because I think he's a better quarterback overall. And I mean, more weeks than not, he is going to finish above Jared Goff just because of the upside of the rushing and the upside of he still has AJ Brown, guys. Like that's calm down.
Yeah.
And then the last question with Aaron, Kupp or DJ Moore? This is crazy because Kupp killed you. I'm surprised if you started Kupp last week and you got through. Congratulations, he killed a lot of teams with that 0. DJ Moore, 8 targets last week, 6 catches against the 49ers. The week before that, 16 targets, like 16 targets against Detroit. I don't know, man.
Detroit's defense is continuing to get injured.
Yes, and they're playing Detroit again.
Players off the street, they're playing Detroit again. He's gotten 8 targets the last 2 weeks, 16 the week before that, 7, 6, 9. He's getting targets. He's also starting to get used more in like the sweep around game where he's actually like running the ball some now too. Kind of like how Deebo Samuel used to be in a way. He's getting involved. He's getting you double-digit points. He hasn't gotten double-digit points since week 10 and 9, 8, 9, and 10, really. Kupp has been on a roller coaster. He's had really, really good games, and he's had really, really bad games. And he had a really good game against Buffalo, then an awful game against San Francisco. He's got the Jets this week, which could be good, you would think. But, man, I kind of want to stick with the safety of DJ Moore at this point. Kupp's your really, really high ceiling, really, really low floor. DJ Moore is your consistent point. So if you're looking for a tight matchup, man, I kind of want to lean DJ Moore here.
Yeah, I'm leaning heavily towards DJ Moore just because of what we just saw with Josh Allen. Again, Caleb Williams is not Josh Allen, but that Detroit secondary is falling apart quick, very quick. All right, let's get to what were we doing? Oh yeah, we were doing
Tank Dell. Tank Dell has been pretty off the last 3 weeks. Wide receiver 89. He was wide receiver 58 last week with 6.1. He's rostered in 85% of the leagues. I bet you most of you guys are still starting him.
Ain't no way.
He's on our check back next week list because of who he plays this week. KC at KC. This could be a very tough matchup for Houston, but it could be a interesting one if Patrick Mahomes doesn't play. The Chiefs allow a top 10 most points against the wide receiver position. So this should lean towards Tank Dell's ability to play, but with Nico Collins back, it kind of hurts Tank. Like you would have thought that like Nico coming back, Tank would also benefit from that, but he hasn't. Joe Mixon might miss time. This is really a check back next week. I'm not starting Tank Dell this week, but don't necessarily drop him yet.
Yeah, Tank Dell only 2 touchdowns on the season, been very, very inconsistent. Double-digit points have been, like you said, very rarity, only in week 12. The one before that, week 9. He's just been so inconsistent. I'm not touching Tank Dell. If you're still starting Tank Dell, what are we doing? How did you get here? How are you in the playoffs if you still started Tank Dell? Congratulations if you did. Jake Ferguson, tight end, Dallas. He's on this list as well. He's playing Tampa Bay, though. You can't downplay the Tampa Bay upside. When in doubt, just plug and play the guys playing Tampa Bay. It's just go back into your game chart, go back to your box score and just see who Tampa Bay has played. Everyone goes bananas. I'm not starting Jake Ferguson this week, but man, I'm tempted to. I really am. Over guys we spoke about before.
I don't think I'm starting him this week. I don't even care that he's playing Tampa Bay. Tampa's got allowed the 13th most to the tight end position, which is quite a bit still. But he hasn't had a double-digit game since week 9. He's been injured since then too. But since that week 9 game where he scored 14 points, he has scored a total of 16 and change, 17 points total.
It's bad.
Over 4 weeks. It's bad. Like, it's not good. And I even said go get Cooper Rush, but Cooper Rush loves him some CeeDee Lamb and Jalen Tolbert and all the other guys that's on that offense, and Brandon Cooks, and he does not love him some Ferguson. So I'm not starting him. I would not bench him, because the minute you bench him, somebody else is going to pick him up, and then he's going to drop 20 because he's playing Tampa Bay.
So the next guy on our list, Kareem Hunt. You asked me before the show if we should have had a burial, and this should have been it. Since Isaiah Pacheco's come back, Kareem Hunt's been a non-factor. I've seen personally people still start Kareem Hunt in their playoff matchups because Kareem Hunt got him that far. He was that waiver wire guy from week 7 to week 12. He was carrying your running back 2's position, getting double-digit points in every single week except for week 11 against Buffalo. He was very, very good for you, and people are still playing him, but they're failing to realize not only is he not getting the carries, he's not getting the snap percentage. 39.1% in week 13, 26.9% in week 14. Last week against Cleveland, he had 15 carries, 2 targets, but only 49 total yards, no touchdowns. Has not had a touchdown since week 9 against Tampa Bay. So therefore, Kareem Hunt has been such a non-factor. He's not even a check back next week. He's a check back until Isaiah Pacheco breaks his leg again. Kareem Hunt can be dropped. Move on. He's one of my drop candidates. I'm not killing him because I love Kareem Hunt. But then again, he's just not producing for you at all. Like 0. Again, not since week 12 has he been really startable for your fantasy team. And I see people still starting him.
And here I am looking at this overlay that I made below, and it shows him on the Browns. He's definitely on the Chiefs.
Wow, Justin.
That's a mistake. But that's how that's how irrelevant he's been. The sad thing is, like, Kareem Hunt was super, super relevant when Isaiah Pacheco was out. Now he isn't. You would assume that would mean Pacheco would be really good. Well, he's not either. He's not getting double-digit points. His most points is 8.1 against the Chargers in Week 14. Like, they're both just not good. Like, they're splitting it up too much to where, like, neither of them are productive anymore. So, that's sad. Just stay away from the Chiefs, I guess.
Just stay away from the Chiefs, except for even Travis Kelce. Ugh. Anyway, last guy on our list, Jalen Warren out of Pittsburgh. Yeah, everyone wanted Jalen Warren to be a thing, like every single person. And I don't blame him. I wanted Jalen Warren to be a thing. But the fact is, Jalen Warren's never going to be a thing as long as Najee Harris is still with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He is like just 25 carries automatic every single week, where we haven't had double-digit carries from Jalen Warren since week 12, where he had 11. Other than that, nothing. He's yet to have 100 total yards on the season. He has 1 touchdown on the season. I don't believe that 70% of people still roster him. I think that's false news, fake news, as Trump would say, fake news, right? Very fake. There's no way. If you're still rostering Jalen Warren, or you still see him rostering in your league, drop a 1 in the chat because I need to know. Like, it's not possible. But Jalen Warren, people are still starting him apparently, so just don't. What are we doing?
Yeah, it's certainly interesting. I'm trying to figure out why Najee only got 6 attempts last week, only 33% of the snap share, whereas Jalen Warren got 53. I see something about like a fumble, and a Yahoo Sports article yesterday said something about, did Najee Harris fumble away the starting job to Jalen Warren?
Oh, come on.
So it's like,
come on.
Don't read into this hype, guys. Like, Najee Harris is still the running back. I think he had to have an injury last week or something to where like he Pittsburgh Steelers. Nope, that was 16 days ago. Yeah, I don't know. I guess he's dealing with a ankle injury again or something. I don't know, but I check back next week. Like
If you're alive next week.
if you're alive, but maybe don't drop Jalen Warren just in case Najee decides to just not be the running back anymore. But
Yo, I love everyone's posting their teams in the chat right now. Aaron's got Jalen Hurts, Dowdle, Jahmyr Gibbs, Kittle, crushing it. Good old Broncos defense again. That's great. Yeah, and then Craig asked, "Do you like the Chiefs defense? They're playing Houston this week, in Kansas City. I actually do like that matchup. I don't feel like CJ Stroud has been. I'm not going to say bad. I'm not going to say he was good this year. I'm not going to say he was bad. He's just been mediocre. I do like this. They can get to him pretty easily. And if Mixon's banged up still, I have no hope for the Houston Texans to move that ball against the Chiefs defense. I don't hate them, but I don't like them. They're just somewhat in the middle to me. And then Craig also says he has HN, Bijan, and Joe Mixon. Oh my goodness. What a trio. What a freaking trio. I wish I had that trio. I wish I was as good as you, Craig. Ain't no way I'm getting HN, Bijan, and Joe Mixon. That's mainly because I just play wide receivers first. Zero running back position. You know, the analysts, the zero running backs. No, my thing is we'll talk about this in the draft. When you go along into our draft prep and going into 2025, I'm always one big running back and the rest all just streamers, all of them. So I will get one. This year it was CMC for me. Yeah, this year was CMC. So you can tell where my redraft leagues went this year. Straight to the trash with CMC's Achilles. In my hopes and dreams. But I crushed Dynasty though. I mean, I'm there. I'm still there. Justin, anything else before we head out of here today?
No, I mean, hopefully you get the waivers you need. I don't think there are a ton out there to go get, other than the ones that we talked about. And hopefully you guys have a good week.
Yes, and guys,
tell us if you got into your championship next week.
Yes, and we will be back tomorrow for a Fantasy Showdown special playoff edition. Yes, we are going to take two players that you may roster and tell you who you should start or not start. Guys, spoiler, I'm going to crush Justin again. Spoiler alert, if you're not here tomorrow, I'm going to crush Justin in his own league in the playoffs. I'm ready for it. But until then, see you guys tomorrow. Peace.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you watch or listen to podcasts. Follow on X and Instagram at OUSFFPOD. We'll be back next week for more ways to win your league.